back here on first down. And the connection made to Terrell Pryor. 15 yards through the air and a first down. The Terrell Pryor guy, Charles, we've talked a lot about, but he's moved from just being this nice redemption story to a guy that, heck, could be an all-pro candidate this year.
Look at what he did just this past week, putting up 131 receiving yards. Not the first time, and I don't think it'll be the last. And when I've talked with scouts and personnel people around the league, all of them have said, with time, he'll develop into a legit #1 target in the NFL and will be an all-pro and Pro Bowl-type player. That time might be now.
Second and 10 now. Kessler once more. And his throw is incomplete. He was looking for Terrell Pryor that time. Third down here. Throwing is Kessler on third down. And now another one thrown incomplete.
In most pass defenses, the guy playing safety has the ability to roam free and try and go to the football. But when you're in man, you've got to cover just like a guy playing out on the corner. Lock up on the receiver and go to the football.
And look at this. It's a fake. And this is incomplete. A huge gamble, and it does not pay off. Well, not only did they try to fake it, they put the ball in the arm of their punter, and it didn't work out.
Not the quarterback.
No.
The punter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Risky.
And it's so funny because when it works, genius. When it doesn't work, not so smart.
Not so genius.
In this case, not so genius, but I do admire that he went for it.
It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4. Now, the 49ers had the read option working against the Dolphins, and a beneficiary was Hyde, 65 yards on the ground. Kaepernick even more than that, as we mentioned earlier, 113.
And when you look at Carlos Hyde, you see a bruising type of a back, a slashing type of a back. Earlier this season, he missed a couple of games due to a shoulder injury. And when he came back, seemed a little tentative in his first game back against Arizona. Only had 14 yards on the ground. But since then, he's back to attacking the line of scrimmage and starting to pile up the yardage. Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
Throwing is Kaepernick on third down. And able to find Curley. And he's got the first down as he gets it to the 8. It's a good gain of 11, sets him up 1st and goal. And Cap, of course, was a great baseball player, drafted as a pitcher. He kind of showed his arm right there, didn't he?
Yeah, he let that one go, didn't he? That was a catcher putting down the #1 signal for the fastball and turning it loose. It was needed in that situation, though. He had to throw a tight spiral and a hard one in order to get it in there for a completion. And, Brad, they went to a nickel defense, and that's a surprise this close to the goal line because ordinarily you use the back end of the end zone, the sidelines as extra defenders, and you want bigger people on the field to try and help against the run.
They try again with Hyde. And he'll take this into the end zone for a San Francisco touchdown. Carlos Hyde taking it in from 4 yards out. And the Niners have taken the early lead. Solid job up front. Really just a solid job all the way around to get that one in.
Yeah, that was well executed, wasn't it? Well blocked, well run. End result, 6 points.
Touchdown. And the 49ers grab a 7-0 lead.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense.
So the flag is for roughing the kicker, a big 15-yard penalty.
And I'm not sure that was the time to go all out after the kicker. Plenty of time left in this game.
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. So the script flips back over to the Cleveland Browns. They come out on offense, and an interesting stat for them coming out of Week 12. Duke Johnson threw a pass in that game. Their tailback, he became the 7th player for the Browns this season to throw a pass.
Can you name the other 6?
I know you can.
Well, let's go ahead and do it together, right? Robert Griffin III.
Josh McCown. Terrell Pryor.
Kevin Hogan.
Charlie
Whitehurst.
Who we missing?
Cody Kessel. And Duke Johnson is the only one who has not completed a pass of all 7. So that means Mr. Duke Johnson has no quarterback rating.
And the coach has decided to throw the red flag. He will challenge this play. Well, he challenged the play. It did not pay off.
And that means he lost a timeout in that challenge.
And as a coach, you hate that. Don't know if you took the advice of the player. You threw it yourself, but it didn't go your way.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to the head coach. He has the final determination on whether to actually challenge the play or not. In this case, it didn't pay off for him.
And that's got to be so heartbreaking. You throw that flag, you probably feel really confident, and then all of a sudden, boom, you lose the challenge.
Yeah, when you take a look at it, you're throwing that flag because you believe you're going to be right. And when it comes back the other way, you have to regroup.
Now the Browns' replacement for Andy Lee. It's 7th-year man Britton Colquitt on to punt it. And they're going to try this again. It's another fake. And this is incomplete. A huge gamble, and it does not pay off. Well, not only did they try to fake it, they put the ball in the arm of their punter, and it didn't work out.
Not the quarterback.
No.
The punter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
risky.
And it's so funny because when it works, genius. When it doesn't work, not so smart.
Not so genius.
In this case, not so genius, but I do admire that he went for it.
And as the San Francisco 49ers, they take the field again on offense. I wanted to go to a point that you were saying off air, and that is even though they're 1-10, and you called their game last week, this team, and it may be cliche, they're not giving up, are they?
No, they aren't. They're showing up like an NFL team is supposed to. I mean, when you look at their overall record of 1-10, you would expect to look and see they've been blown out of just about every game they've played. Well, let's just take the last 3 weeks very quickly. At Arizona, lost by 3, field goal late. They ended up playing New England at home. That game in the 4th quarter was a 13-10 game. And then this last week against Miami, they were down 31-14 and came roaring back and almost tied the game at the end.
They tried to run the counter, just that the defense wasn't fooled.
And when they're not fooled, you see the end result. Because what you're doing there, you mentioned the counter. You're using your offensive linemen sometimes to pull or move to influence the defensive front to go in that direction and create the space back in the other side and block it appropriately. But you're exactly right. Didn't move him. Sat there waiting for him and made the play.
Now Phil Dawson, who spent 14 years in a Browns uniform, on the right hash. Officially, this will be a 51-yard attempt. And the kick for the 41-year-old is up and good. And the lead moves to 10-zip. 1 quarter in the books. 10-zip our score. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports.
This presentation of the NFL on EA Sports is brought to you by Snickers. You're off your game when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
2nd quarter now. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis. The punter Pinion now to kick this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And in hindsight, probably should have stayed where he was, as he'll only get back to the 16-yard line. And the 49ers defense gets ready here as they trot back out there. The crew that got the stop last time led to 3 points. That was good, but they're probably thinking, hey, we'll get you the stop again offense. You get us a touchdown here.
Just add to the points total, right? But the defense has to have a ton of confidence. Someone goes for it against you on their own side of the 50. No. Stuff them, turn over the offense, and you're right. They'll take 3 on the first time. If they do it again, though, they expect a touchdown.
Yeah, well, first they've got to do it. Let's see if they can. Second down, 8. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he goes nowhere. He'll lose yardage back at the 17. He lost 2 there, and it's third down. Still 9 yards to go on third down.
There's another example of why they haven't scored any points so far. I think it's time to abandon the run game, spread things out, and go to the air. It certainly can't be any worse than what they've done so far.
And incomplete here on third down. Well, they've had a pretty frustrating first half here offensively, and that just continued there with that incompletion.
Yeah, definitely frustrating for them, but heartening for the other guys. Those stop troops, they're enjoying.
And look at this, another fake. And this is incomplete. A huge gamble, and it does not pay off. Well, not only did they try to fake it, they put the ball in the arm of their punter, and it didn't work out.
Not the quarterback.
No.
The punter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Risky.
And it's so funny because when it works, genius. When it doesn't work, not so smart.
Not so genius.
In this case, not so genius, but I do admire that he went for it.
That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be second down.
Let's just go ahead and go back through that play with his eyes because he's got to read his keys. Run or pass right off the top. You're probably going to read an offensive lineman to see if he sets up in pass protection, if he fires out for a running play. The next thing is you're going to check and see what the back's going to do. And if he ends up with the football, okay, now you got to check and see. Does an offensive lineman come downfield and try and block you? Are you going to try to elude him? Are you going to take him on and hold your spot? What are you going to do? In this case, didn't have to do any of that. Saw all of his keys, saw the play in front of him, and ran clean to the ball carrier and finished off the play.
From the gun on third down, Kaepernick. Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete.
Partner, how many times have you heard it? Pressure creates diamonds, right? But it also bursts pipes. And on that one, that's what they got. They got after him, and he was fortunate just to get rid of it.
Yeah, he just had to chuck it away. And Dawson's kick is good. And that'll push the lead up to 13-0. Well, the offense got the ball in a good spot, but they went nowhere. They settled for 3.
Brandon, I think it's safe to say that was a major disappointment. Had a great opportunity, excellent field position, and did not be able to move the ball at all. Big-time letdown.
And this will get out of bounds. No worries there, though. That still goes as a touchback. And now the Browns offense trots back onto the field. And on that last drive, went for it on 4th, turned it over. A good job by their defense, though. They held them to 3, but this offense, they've got to be a little bit better, a little bit more careful here.
And sometimes when you see these calls on 4th down, when they decide to go for it, it's not necessarily the coach saying, I believe in my offense. Sometimes the coach saying, I believe in my defense. I can afford to go for it here because if we don't get it, I don't think we'll give up more than 3, and that's exactly what happened.
You think that factored in?
I do. I think that he had that in his mind going into the game, that I'm going to be aggressive on offense because I know I've got a defense that can hold up their end.
That one good for 16, and the drive will continue. So here we go, 1st and 10 now. And really just a heck of a catch. That's a really good receiver making a nice play.
And against a really good defensive back. Right there together, and over the top, the receiver wins the battle.
A good pickup there, 8 yards on the first down completion.
Some think that teams really won't throw a slant route unless you have a receiver that has a lot of stature to him. But sometimes the little guys, they get lost in there. People can't really locate them, and they run that quick cut on the slant, and oftentimes they can turn it into big plays.
And he's going to get this inside the 30. A good pickup there of 20 yards. So after that big gain, let's see what else the offense has up its sleeve. And now the passing game here in the second quarter starting to heat up a little bit.
Don't you feel the rhythm starting to happen, right? You see it now. The confidence is starting to rise. I think now as a play caller, because that has happened, you lean on it a little bit more. You don't go totally away from running the football, but you do say, guess what? We can throw it well with a whole lot of confidence.
2 minutes to go here in the first half. More from Cleveland after this. Again, it's Kessler. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Browns touchdown. Terrell Pryor from 6 yards away. And the Browns have